So I recorded this whole interview with Steve about how he felt about his gardening after setting it up and then immediately taking off for vacation for a month, basically with no one watching it. Of course, we didn't realize until afterwards that our mics weren't working the entire time. So imagine this is what we said. Well, he did have some volunteers to check it out a few times, and this is probably what was said. Yep, still green, still growing, looks planty. Steve's philosophy? It's a marathon, not a sprint, which is the gardener speak for. I may have accidentally created a jungle while I was sipping cocktails on the beach. But hey, he makes a great point. This land is incredibly healthy, which is exactly why his plants decided to grow their own wild party and grow completely out of control while he was gone. The good news? Steve's happy to be back and ready to dedicate some serious time to taming his green monster. And here's the real victory. No deer or bears managed to break into his enclosed garden fortress. Though, let's be honest, the deer did help themselves on an all-you-can-eat buffet of anything that dared to grow outside this gate. Thanks for the free landscaping, guys. So stick around, because further along in this video, you'll see our surprise potato harvest, an additional bed being planted, and some cleanup we did along the way. Happy gardening, everybody.
We're back at the Nazon Project. I'm gonna let him go because he dropped his soil, but I'm gonna walk down ahead of him. Um, so here we are today. Mr. Nazon has been on vacation, so we're gonna see what his garden looks like. Um, and the purpose of today, or this episode, is to do a lot of cleanup. As you can see, we're walking toward the garden, and it looks like a lot of overgrowth, but nothing that we did not expect. So you see that the enclosure is still up. Nothing tore it down while we were away. So that's a great thing. And looks like he has a lot of growth. We're going to have to get a basket. I see his owls are still working. And here we go. We're going to get in here. We're going to turn these owls off. You see the owl down there? Owl down there going off. I'm pretty sure that that has helped him along the way. So, and then one of the things that we're going to leave being his project is making sure that the door is shored up. All right, so let's get going.
I must say, I'm very impressed with all the growth of Steve's garden while he was away. About a month and some change away, and look at the corn. It is growing up tall. It's actually taller than me at this point. And if you look closely, you'll see some silks on the inside of the corn. And this is the corn that we struggled to get to plant inside. I'm looking down at the ground and I'm noticing that he has a lot of weeds that we're going to pull out of the ground here. And as we pull out the weeds, we're going to notice all the different plants that he has in the various containers that are here. So let's just keep going and pay very close attention to the various things that need to happen to this garden while he was away. I noticed the tassels on the top of the corn, and as I back away, I'm also noticing that there are tomatoes behind it. And then if we look in, we have one grapevine that's in the middle in a bucket, but it's not tied to any trellis here. But the grapes overall have a lot of damage. I'm noticing lanternflies in, as well as other bugs and some damage to the plants. It's overgrown pepper plants we're going to have to tie up, as well as weeds on the inside of his garden bed. And then I even see one pepper that has decapitated itself already. If I take a look down at his basil that's there, it's very full and it needs to be harvested pretty soon. If you don't harvest it, it'll get like a wood taste because it's overgrown. And in there, you see he has some strawberries that he can harvest, but there are also a lot of strawberry flowers and some strawberries that have actually died off because they were not picked on time. The buds are very promising, which means they will continue to produce throughout the gardening season. I'm just very happy to see that there's a lot for him to gather, so it means that he didn't waste his time and energy in planting these garden beds. The full leaves of basil is very promising. These are the sweet basil brand. And it's also very impressive that within the garden bed itself, there's only a little bit of weeds in the middle of the plant. So there's a weed here and a weed here, and then you'll see where the pepper plant decapitated itself because it needed to be staked up. It's a little bit too heavy than to be standing alone. So what we're going to do is go in and grab a stake and put it in there. You see there's more peppers on this plant. So staking it up will actually help it for future growth. Looking in the back there, I do see some yellow flowers. Those are the zucchini plants. I'm actually pretty surprised, yet not surprised at the same time, that the zucchini plants are as bushy as they are. When we planted the seeds, we planted 3 seeds in there. Walk around, just going to look a little bit more of what's going on in this garden. And then you look a little closer. If you look all in there, you see the green tomatoes. They're going to have tomatoes pretty soon. They're all over the place. You see tomato suckers in there, flowers, more tomatoes, and it's leaning over on the grapevine there that has been decimated a little bit by lanternflies. So I'm just going to look in a little bit closer. A lot of tomatoes in there. Very happy about that. Happy about what we see about the tomatoes. And I'm pretty sure Steve is pretty happy too. So I look around and I'm walking around and I look down. I'm actually pretty happy that I see the green beans there and there are flowers. And look, a pollinator flying around. We love seeing pollinators within a garden. And in that, if I look a little bit closer, there are flowers. They're going to have green beans to pick, and we're going to go in and pick the weeds. But one of the things that's amazing is how bushy the carrots are. Had I known that the seeds that they got had a high germination rate, I may not have planted them as thick as I did, and now we're going to have to thin them out. So if I look around on the side, I'm looking back at the cucumbers and the habanero peppers. So one of the habanero peppers is ready to pick, while there's some green ones in there as well. And then if I look in the back, the cucumber plant is growing out of control and it's grabbing onto everything. So if I swing around, gonna keep looking. A lot of cleanup, but not much cleanup at the same time. Just some regular maintenance of trimming, pruning, and doing all the things of garden maintenance. Then, as I come out and I walk around, I just want to see what the deer or any of the animals actually did. So, there was a picture that he had sent, and the cucumber plants were growing outside of the fence they had grabbed on. But as they did that, the deer, bear, whatever came around, just pretty much ate it from the outside. So, good thing they didn't come on the inside, but they did pretty much mow down anything that grew on the outside of the garden enclosure that he had set up here. So let's get going and get to work on cleaning up this garden.
Check out the lanternfly damage here. It is very detrimental. We're going to spray it with some neem oil. Look at the brownage on the leaves here, sucking the life out of this grapevine. There's a chance we may need to move the grapevine. I'm going to spray it. As you can see, the grapevine carries all the way over here. We want it to go up this trellis and go around. This is the first year of the grapevine, so it's not really going to produce this year, but we do need to remediate all the lantern bugs and whatever bugs have come in and are trying to destroy this plant. Just check it out.
Now that we have checked out everything that he had going on in the garden, all the things that I'm going to have to clean up, the first things first is to remove all of the weeds that we see from down below. We're also going to remove out all the container plants that he put in there just for safekeeping while he was away. And while I'm in, I'm also going to grab any weeds out of the actual garden beds. We're doing this fairly quickly, and the good thing about doing this is he can finally see the type of maintenance he's going to have to do on a daily basis. So here we go, cleaning out his garden, and I'm kind of trying to point and tell him where to move things out so that I can get in and do all the different types of maintenance works and visuals that I could possibly do for his garden at this point in time.
Steve planted some potatoes, and he wants to see what his harvest is like. So, Steve, you can take the bag, empty the bag. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully, you've got some potatoes. We're not gonna be disappointed if it's none, but hopefully, it's something in there. Empty it out. We know that they should be ready because the plants themselves are dead. So pour the bag out. Just empty the bag. Oh, there you go. That's a big one.
Woo!
Look at
Okay,
that.
okay, okay. We gonna go ahead. Well, I gotta wash them anyway, so
You
I'm just
gotta
gonna put
watch
them
them.
right
Just
here.
put it on the ground. Empty the whole bag. Oh, look at that. All right, so just sort through. That's another one. Two. Got a little baby. Another little
I'm
baby.
gonna make a stew tonight.
I seen some more. There you go. It's a good size one. So another one. There you go. Another one. Itty bitties. All right. There go one. Look at you. You like the corn, but you made potatoes. That's it.
Tiny one.
Tiny one. There's one by your
Okay.
knee. One by your knee.
One by my knee. Right knee, left knee,
Left knee.
left knee. Yep.
And another little baby. All right. So let's zoom in here. These are his potatoes. And this was his potato harvest. So
First time.
that was a good time. First time. And you did good for a first time.
Absolutely. And as Chas knows, when I see something works, I'm going to research to figure out how to do it better the second time. And I'm going to add more volume. So we are going to quadruple the amount of space we dedicate to potatoes next season.
All right. There you go.
Here I show Steve the key to harvesting basil. Always cut just above a node, which is where the two leaves branch out from the stem. This simple technique triggers the plant to send out new shoots from the exact spot, giving him more leaves to harvest throughout the season. Steve is focused on selecting the largest, healthiest leaves while leaving the smaller ones to keep growing. By cutting above the nodes instead of just randomly picking leaves, his basil plant stays bushy and produces all summer long. It's a small detail that makes a huge difference in how much basil you can harvest from each plant.
All right. So here we see Mr. Nazon is a bit of an overachiever. He bought a lot of garden soil and compost here. And check out what we got here. Another raised bed that he's going to plant on the outside. This one, he's not worried about deer. He's just simply going to put a cover on it and try some of his fall crops from seed and toss in a few extra green beans. All right, so let's get going. See what we're going to have planted in this smaller raised garden bed. All right, so what I'm doing here is I have pruned, trimmed, thinned out, harvested from this bed alone. There are about 1, 2, 3, 4 stakes needed. But for now, until Steve can go get the stakes and maybe tomato cages, what I'm going to do here is dig some trenches, put in some fertilizer, and then eventually this morning, what he's going to do is go in and water it in real good. This bed is in pretty good shape. I'm still going to have him come back out later and trim out the grapevine, and we're going to come up with something there. I'm still going to do some extra work in the bed beside me, but for now he's filling this bed, the extra bed over on the side. We're not going to put anything in that bed that's going to grow tall because it is going to have a cover, but what he's hoping to do is probably start some of his fall crops, i.e. cabbage, maybe some lettuce on the end so that he can cut and come again, cut and come again, meaning he can just cut the tops off and it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. So that's what the goal is before our time is up today, because we do have a time limit. So we're going to just keep going, dig these trenches, double task, more hands, the better, and see what we can get accomplished. I'm very pleased so far with the progress that we've made in the little bit of time that we have. So now I'm just going to keep digging out these trenches around these plants. I'm kind of doing a circle so that it doesn't get too close to the root. Put the fertilizer in, cover it back up, backfill it, and then go in and water in the bed really good. Like I said, this bed is good. It just needs a few stakes. So if you see here, this plant is growing like sideways and then the top is going over to the side. It's because it was very much covered with a lot of other plant growth. This pepper plant is doing the same thing. So with the sunlight coming in and less leaves and everything, hopefully we can get them to grow back upright, because we do know that's possible. And then we'll go in and take a look at these squash plants over here and fertilize those as well. I do see some squash coming in, so some I thinned out and some I didn't. We're going to do an experiment to see if we can get some of his squash plants to grow vertically, and then the others we're going to put them in cages just to so that they don't branch out too far. All right, let's keep going. So Steve cleared out and he filled this bed. He's going to put a cover on it. They want some fall greens and some lettuces, kales, a bit more green beans in this bed. So what we're going to do is completely fill it. We're on a time constraint today, but we are going to get at least one bed done. What we did was we completely fertilized the other two beds. We trimmed, we pruned. It's a lot more work to do, but sometimes, just like Steve says, it's a marathon and not a race. So we're just going to do what we can for the amount of time that we can here today. And first, what we're going to do is the various lettuces here. So we have a bib lettuce and a prize head lettuce. So I'm just going to use my finger to plant these. I don't really need a stick, but I'm going to plant in rows and rows of them. I'm going to start with the prize head lettuce. I'm going to put it on the back side. I'm going to do 1, 2, break up the soil. Like 3 rows of the prize head and then put a tag in. The seeds are very small for this, so I could take the gloves off. And I'm just going to sprinkle them in. They've had some very great germination with their seeds, so I'm not going to sow them thick. Just going to put them very thin. Very thin in here. I'll come in and let the camera see what a lettuce seed looks like. 2 rows of this. Go into the 3rd row. A little bit more. Sprinkle it in. And then I'll just gently go back in and cover the soil. I think I got enough seeds in here. So to show the camera essentially what the seeds look like, I'll come in here, show, and hopefully not fall. I want to grab the tag that she did. Very slippery out here. Prize head lettuce before I cover it, so I know how far I went with this. So from this section on will be the prize head lettuce. Toss back on a glove. Completely cover these. Make sure that he comes back in and waters. Just very shallow. So now I know where to start for the next thing of lettuce, which is the bib lettuce. Bib lettuce is a little bit different. If we research it, I'll send them a link. But I'm going to do 2 rows of bib lettuce so that when she creates salads, what she can do is cut different leaves of the different lettuce plants and have a complete salad full of mixed greens. Do 3 rows of this as well. Just creating a little trench with my hands here, not too deep, just because some clumps of soil, just get the clumps out. We only just want it to make connection with the soil, not deep. So bib lettuce, perfect. Bib lettuce is a bit on the sweeter version. Same size seeds, but I'm going to sprinkle them down. Like I said, they bought some pretty good seeds, so I don't have to worry about the germination aspect of it. And if I see and they send me pictures that they need to thin them out, I will let them know. For these, reach all the way over. Luckily for them, they're a lot taller than me. Their arms are a lot longer than mine, so they should be able to reach. One of the difficulties that I found with that bed over there, for me in particular, is I'm not that tall, so I don't reach in so deep. So one of the things that we'll notice with this project going forward is the spacing, where he puts the beds versus where he puts the gate. Sprinkle some lettuce seeds over there, and we will cover it. All right, perfect. Gonna come back in, wrong hand. Gonna come back in here and cover this. Grab the bib lettuce, grab the tag, and I stopped here because I could see it. So the lettuce is in, bib lettuce, fries head lettuce. Kale is a little bit different. Kale comes up in plants. The seeds look a little bit different. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna block off a section, and then I have to go find the kale premier seeds. I'm gonna try to plant 4 plants. I'm gonna put them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will go back and show her. And then she has some dwarf kale. I'm gonna do the same on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is premier kale, premier kale, dwarf kale. I'm gonna use her little thing here, her little marker, to put the holes down. I'm not gonna put the holes down very deep. What I'm gonna do is make sure I just put it slightly deep, make connection with the soil, and I'm gonna have them mist water so that the seeds don't come up. So let me just put what's first, the blue dwarf kale. So I'm gonna do one here, one here, one here, one here. Because these grow up kind of like stalks, I don't have the lines lined up, so I'm just going to use this again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the blue dwarf kale. For the purpose of thinning it out, I'm only going to put 3 seeds in each hole. Give you a look at what kale seeds look like. This is what most green seeds look like. So look at my hand here. Put it closer to the camera. And both kale seeds look like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then right here, 1, 2, 3. Put one in the middle just in case. 2, 3. Put those seeds back in there. I changed my mind on what she wants to do with the kale. I'm gonna do 1 row. Can't get in here. 1 row of kale. I'm just gonna spread the seeds a little bit thinner. I think she's gonna use them for salads. So that's a little bit different than just growing a plant for the leaves and like some type of green. So what I'm gonna do is, what kale is this? This is premier kale. It looks pretty bushy. Not gonna put a lot of seeds, but I'm gonna put, don't want to spill. Not gonna put a lot of seeds. I'm gonna do 1,
2, 3, 4, 5. Like I said, the seeds aren't as big. Well, they're bigger than the lettuce seeds. So what you can do is as they germinate and they come up, we'll come back. We're going to thin them out. I don't want to completely cover them, so I'm going to just take soil and put them out. Cover. Grab this. We will know this line to here is Premier Kale. Make sure they have good connection with the soil. Next is the dwarf kale. Well, this line here. Gonna do the same thing. Put a few seeds down in here. Do it very sparingly, not like the lettuce, just only a few seeds because we are gonna have to come in here and thin it out. Put the tag down. Cover those. Put them in there. Still, bush beans and spinach is what she has left. So now I'm finishing up this bed by planting spinach seeds. Steve wanted this new garden bed specifically for leafy greens so that they can come out and harvest fresh salads right from their yard. About this setup is the protective cover. It'll shield the plants from animals and pests that would normally damage the crops. As an added bonus, this cover will also protect it against frost whenever the fall and winter arrive. As the temperatures drop, the plants will grow slower. But here's the interesting part. The cold weather usually triggers slightly sweeter taste for many of these greens, making these winter salads even more delicious. Day one of cleanup was pretty successful. What we're going to do is essentially go through, show you. We trimmed out the basil, cut out any of the strawberries, basil. We're going to tie up these pepper plants. The few in the front, we don't know quite what they are yet because they had no labels. The one in the back decapitated itself because it was too heavy. It had a lot. We're going to have to put a stake on that. The one thing about the zucchini, they may be looking like they're down now, but they will stand up later today once they get some water. We did trench fertilize all of this bed, so that's a great thing. And we thinned out the zucchini. So I don't know if you watched one of the older videos. We had planted 3 seeds in, 3 seeds sprouted in each. We took out 4 zucchini plants for airflow. We left 3 over in the corner over here. The reason why we left 3 was because all 3 have been fruiting, so which ones aren't the strongest will eventually come out. Here we have the grapevine. We sprayed it, we treated it. We're cutting out a lot of the dead leaves and we're going to guide it up this trellis here. There's a trellis that goes all the way around to the top. Same on this side because he has the plants in both. If you take a look at the back side of where the cucumbers were growing through the fence, the deer on the outside of the fence were eating the cucumbers. So what I'm going to do for the first time ever is let them grow up on the tomatoes for the most part, as much as I can. I did thin them out a little bit. So hopefully he will start to see yellow flowers all on the cucumbers. We did toss in a lot of fertilizer in here. We staked up a lot of the tomatoes. He has lots of tomatoes, and let me say, lots of tomatoes, and tons of bees in here fertilizing everything. The one thing that I'm gonna say that he is the happiest about, and you can stand with your corn. Steve stands with the corn. He's very happy about it.
Love it.
He might have some corn to eat, maybe 1 or 2. So He has the corn here. And then on the back side, the one thing that his wife is very happy about is they're able to soon pick some green beans. So that is great. So here we go. His garden. It still looks like a forest, but it's much better than what we found it.